Welcome to our 5 minutes with interviews. Today we have Anna Vladimirova, who is a PhD candidate from the Faculty of Education. Hello, Anna.
Hello, Laura.
Well, shall we start then with your research? Can you tell us what your PhD is about?
Well, my background is in education, and I've been working in the field of environmental education and outdoor learning, concentrating on developing place-responsive pedagogy, or in other words, how we can better respond to a place. And through my research, I'm trying to highlight the importance of not only a place as an ecosystem and a spatial setting that is affected by different anthropogenic and non-anthropogenic factors, but also the importance of the body and its movement in with the place. So I think that the biggest idea that I carry out from my research is that the body is a place, and which might sound as an oversimplification, but there are so many different complex material discursive processes behind this idea.
Wonderful. Can you actually explain a little bit in more depth why this place responsive pedagogy is important?
Yeah, sure. During my studies, I've been visiting different outdoor education settings here in the north of Finland. And I've been exploring how children move with the forests. And I believe that the mainstream outdoor education, and I'm talking about the popular forms of it, which is adventure education, experiential learning, or learning through experiences, they're very effective when it comes to reaching some personal and interpersonal skills. For example, it's a well-known fact that children who often go to outdoor education settings or they visit nature schools, they spend lots of time outdoors, they develop a very strong sense of confidence and different social and risk-taking skills, apart from having general benefit for their health. But at the same time, I think that this child-centrism of outdoor education, it outweighs the focus of outdoor education on nature, in my view. And
Yeah, so you find that it's important to stress that aspect in the research and in the current scholarship on place pedagogy.
Yeah, well, that's why the place-responsive pedagogies and common world pedagogies, they appear because they stress this importance on what nature wants. So they try to shift away from focusing on individual learners towards on the relational aspects of being in a place with a place, on different multi-species emergencies in a place. So, yeah.
Yes. And then that's really interesting. And I think I can kind of guess how this research is important for the program. But maybe if you could tell us a little bit more explicitly how your research brings in new angles to the kind of scope of biodiverse Anthropocenes.
Planetary sustainability and multi-species well-being are the focal points for the researchers of Biodiverse Anthropocenes, and including scholars, educational scholars. So I think that outdoor learning with a deeper attention to a place, with a deeper attention to relations in a place, is a much needed space for learning with the place, learning with different multiple species, and also learning with own body, which is not separate, isolated thing, but it's an extension of place.
Yes. Listen, one last question, but that is always very exciting, is about a moment in your research that provided new openings.
I think that there were so many events during this study, but one of the interesting moments that I remember is when young children in forest preschool, they were burying a small rodent in the forest. And it was their initiative, and it looked like a ceremony, which made me think that ceremonies are not just a cultural invention, but also natural one. And I mean, their movements, they made me think that what the body wants is oftentimes informed by the world. So, I mean, these young, small children, with not necessarily having the concept of burying or ceremony of burying, initiate this ceremony by themselves, which is such a wonderful thing and sustainable practice.
Yeah, I would certainly stress the word relations here, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for being with us. See you next month.